This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good to go.
Okay. I call this meeting to order at 7:01. So currently Mo, George, and LA are not here. Oh,
There's
wait a
some-
minute, someone's here. Where two people are here. Three?
Hey, Mo.
Hello.
Hi.
How is everybody?
Oh, Ellie's here. Good, Mo. Nice to see you.
Good to see everybody.
Okay, so I'll again call this order to meeting at 7:02. George, yeah, could not be here tonight. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda, December 16th, 2021?
So moved.
I'll second.
Everyone in favor? Okay, so anyone from the public present tonight? I don't think so, nope. And then, did everyone get a chance to go over the minutes from the November 18th meeting? And then any changes or suggestions?
I'll make a motion to accept minutes from November 8th.
I'll second it.
Second.
Okay, everyone in favor? Manifest number 7, did everyone have a chance to go through it? And are there any questions?
I just had one. There's one
I'll
correction
make a
on
motion
there.
to accept it.
Oh, give me 1 second. 1 second, Paul. There's just one correction on there. We got the retiree insurance bill, which changed due to being January. The new rates came in. So I got that bill today. Obviously didn't update it due to the law or rules saying you can't really make changes to any of the documents that have been uploaded. So if we want to just amend that, the retiree health insurance line there says $1,951.20. It was actually $2,040.05. So the total is actually for the full manifest is $26,231.34. So there was just a slight change of a few dollars to the retiree line item. And I can send that, guys, out to you, or I guess that's probably, just so you can see it. I don't know the rules, and having to have all the documents uploaded, you're not supposed to change them so people can view them within 24 hours. So I guess I'll upload the new one after the meeting. I guess I can do that.
Should we make mention of that change when we're ready to move?
Yeah, that there's a change to the the retiree health plan manifest number from 1951.20 to $2,040.05, and accept the manifest with that change. I just wanted to go through real quick a couple of things on the manifest. You guys didn't have any questions though? No?
I don't.
Okay.
have questions.
I just wanted to go through real quick and see if there was any. There's just a couple of things. One was the inducer assembly replacement that we had for ANC there. We had a little heating issue. So we had about half the heat in the building for a couple of weeks, a little over a week and a half probably. So that got fixed. Speak of the devil. Let's see what else here. And the workers' comp annual premium down there at the bottom has been paid. So those are just the major big things that I wanted you to know about. But other than that, there's nothing really significant on here. That was it.
Okay, I do have a question now. What's
Okay.
the waste to landfill?
Okay, so yeah, That's me and Stewie taking all the stuff to the dump. That's in the basement there. There's a lot of shelving and a lot of stuff that I talked to you guys a couple of months ago to
Yeah.
prepare for the bathroom renovation that's happening there. So we had again, it's been multiple trips Saturday mornings to go and load up his truck, and he's got a small trailer with just all that stuff. So to get rid of it. So yeah, that actual project is starting the 10th again, and now there shouldn't be any barriers except for moving furniture upstairs that's in the Scott room and into the friends room or to other places. So that should be, I mean, we got to actually put plastic and things on furniture down there and make sure no dust. It's going to happen, but it's getting closer. So we're getting closer to that project being completed, hopefully. Anything else?
Well, I could make a motion to accept manifest number 7 with the amended retiree health insurance, $2,040.05.
I'll second that.
All in favor? I think Ellie's screen froze. There we
She's
go.
kind of in and out.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, what's next? The December financial report.
Did anybody have any questions about the financial report or where we are financially? Oh, Paul, you're muted. Paul, you're muted. Can you hear me?
Because somehow you guys are clear when I'm muted. The book purchases, we're at like we're halfway through the year and we've only spent a third of the budget.
Mhm.
It's you know,
Yeah.
the budget's 75,000 and in 6 months we only spent 26.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Is
It's
there, you know,
just ordering books and getting books. Again, with COVID, same problems with everything else. It's just hard to get things. But we're working on trying to order and get things in, and we're definitely trying to order. So I think that will be.
how do we pick them out again, Seth?
Say that again.
How do we pick out which books to order?
Well, there's a lot of lists, a lot of professional development. All the librarians kind of in the building do the picking of the books. I pick some. Other librarians do. Kathy does. Sarah Jo picks children's, and other librarians there. So, we do it from certain lists. Book recommendation lists that are put out by certain companies, Library Journal and other selection materials, and then we order those. Yes. But I think we'll be closer to that 75 number, Paul, even as the year goes on. I think right now it's lagging a little bit behind with what's available and how invoices are kind of things are back ordered and what's happening. But I think we'll be close to that number.
Good.
Yep. Anybody else? Questions? Still haven't received the rest of our money for the construction grant yet. So we're still waiting on that phase 1 and phase 2 money and the last of the money for the roof project to come in. But again, everything submitted to the state. So should be another $50,000 we're waiting on. So hopefully soon.
What's the New York State retirement?
So yeah, that's for all the employees. We pay New York State retirement for them, or for me too. So that's our share of what the New York State retirement. There's a certain 3% that we pay in of that cost as a match for the employees' retirement.
Okay.
Yep.
No one else has questions. I'll make a motion to accept the financials.
Second that.
All in favor? Okay, old business, an update from the Personnel Committee. Well, Mo.
Hello. So we met yesterday, and we were able to go over the civil service descriptions of the positions that are within the building. We're still looking for, I believe, Seth, Director 1 position we weren't finding. James didn't find for some reason out there. Discussed the fact that there's some possible upcoming retirements in the next year or two that we need to be worried about. Discussed equitable pay, wanting to see what the pay ranges should be at compared to what they might be at. And more discussion about how raises should be handled moving forward. I think I covered it, but Seth, if I missed something, please let me know.
That was pretty good. The organizational chart was something, right?
Oh yes, that
We've been
too.
on that. So,
That was really
just,
helpful. Thank you.
I guess, Mo, I don't know, should we send, what documents should be sent to the board after these meetings, or if there's documents that the board wants to see? I guess it's something, that should be discussed, or if it's we're gonna meet and then provide everything afterwards. I guess I don't know. So I guess that'd be up to the board to decide what they do there. But organizational charts, maybe people are familiar with departments or they're not, and they'd like to see that information, and we can certainly provide anything that the board wants to see. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd be interested in the organizational chart. I'm not familiar with the departments in the who's in what kind of thing.
Okay, great.
Moving on to the circulation desk.
it's me here. So you guys just did get Tom's email there that I put. He got our check, and desk is ordered. Should be here 6 to 8 weeks. So that was a week or so ago. So 4 weeks. I still got to work with trying to get the electrician, the village electrician over here, get Tom back here, and then get Brian Lee from Fort County to come and look at, like I said, the data cable rerouting that's going to happen, the electrical work that's going to have to be done and transferred over, lights and stuff. There's a dimmer switch there for light. And so, yeah, just get all those things together and try to figure out how we're going to do all this, and when the library, what day, when will be closed, or what we're going to try to do. So yeah, we're going to work on that in the next few weeks, hopefully, and get that scheduled so they can come back here and look at things. So hopefully that's soon. So that's it.
Would there be any way to time closing the library with the holiday in February? Isn't there like a President's Day or something? I don't know.
Not for the library. We're not closed any days in February.
Okay.
But again, I think the department head meeting minutes, we'll see later, but the idea that maybe there could just be curbside service that day or two while the desk is getting installed, might be a good possibility. It won't be exactly closed full.
Moving on to COVID-19 policies and procedures.
Yeah, so this is, again, I just kind of threw on there for if the board wants to make any changes to any of those things. Obviously, I also uploaded the mask mandate for the state. Obviously, that started this Monday. Of course, we've always been doing masks, so that's not an issue. The only question with the mask that I had, not that you guys won't vote on this or something else, but if the mask mandate is lifted again next month or something, it's the 15th of January. If the board, wants to lift the mask mandate for the library, during that time, or we would just keep going into the next meeting, is what we've been doing. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Up to you guys.
I would say just wait till the next meeting to decide that. Being that our Broome County cases are not going down.
What are you guys feeling about the other two things on the list there? What you'd like to do?
how's it going with the time limit? People, the 2 hours, Seth, does that seem to be working for people?
Yeah, that's, hasn't been an issue. We, after the 1 hour where people were a little bit, again, we were half hour, went to 1 hour, but after, after we went to 2 hours, we haven't heard any grumblings of, this isn't long enough. I'd like to be here all day type of thing. People, 2 hours, and we're pretty good with that. There may be a little bit more time that somebody's in here, but, it's pretty good. People can get done what they need to within 2 hours.
I think with, the way that the COVID numbers are going locally, keeping the 2 hours probably makes sense just in terms of controlling how many people are in the library and being fair so as many people can get in to that way. And certainly obviously there's a mask mandate, but I think we should still talk about that each month. I mean, things change so and I'm still gonna make my plea that we return to full service. I know we can talk about some of the things that were in the department head meeting minutes when we get there. I do have maybe some suggestions to discuss about some of the concerns. But I also wanted to say I've been kind of by chance working with some local high schools lately, because of some presentations, and I'm really feeling like it is just so critical that we continue to provide the services we are, even just our location. So many people can get to the library by walking. I mean, I walk there daily as a kid from decent walk when I think about it now, but kids are sad right now. There's no place to go. It's people have real big gaps in learning from all of this remote learning and all that, and I feel that the library is just more important than ever. And I want to make another plea that we continue to be open as many hours as possible, especially for local kids and their parents. And that's just based on some things I've heard over the past, again, at schools.
I think most of the feedback from the board is that we would like to get back to regular hours. And I saw one of the things in the staff meetings, they said we keep changing and we keep after changing the signs. We could fix that if we just go back to regular hours. You don't have to change signs anymore. It'll be done. But from what the board I've seen of the board, that's what they seem to want to go.
Seth, what were the Saturday hours again before COVID? Like 9 to
9 to
5?
5. Yeah, 9 to 5. Full day on Saturday. Yep.
But not in the summer. It's like fall,
Right.
winter, summer.
Right.
Except for July and August. Yeah, July and August they weren't open.
Right. The second to last Saturday in June to Labor Day weekend. Right. Close. Yep.
Yeah, I would like to get back to our full service hours.
While I would too, I feel like if we change hours again after changing them last month, like I agree with the notion that we may be confusing a lot of people.
I think though we've been like building up to getting back to regular hours too. I don't know. I kind of think the same as Paul too. Like let's just get them there and set it and leave it. It seems like there's a population that could use it during that time and always has been.
Is there, Seth, do you know if there's like any patrons who come into the library in the winter months specifically for heat and shelter?
That's a good question. I haven't seen it at this library that I know of personally, but other libraries I have worked at, absolutely. It's a heating and supposed to be a heating and cooling center.
Right.
As well, libraries serve communities, and so yeah. But nobody I know personally here, but that doesn't mean
Mhm.
that's not happening.
For now, I'm gonna still leave the hours alone. Mostly because Governor, what's her name, Hochul,
Hochul.
like reinstituted a mask mandate. Maybe if when she, not closes, but takes it away, I guess. We can revisit opening farther or longer on Saturdays.
I like that idea.
So we wouldn't need a vote, right? Yeah, because I'm not saying change anything. Then does anyone have? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Piggybacking on what you just said, that just really threw me back because I know firsthand what it's like to be homeless, and I didn't even think of the library serves as a resource for people. You would have never known I was homeless. So how many people might we be servicing with that simple humane support by allowing these hours to come back to normal?
Mm.
So I'd be for it starting sooner rather than later.
Like for Saturday, going to opening Saturday from 9 to 5,
And bringing the hours back to normal. I mean,
or completely normal.
what is the con on it? What's holding us back from what's the setback from doing it now rather than later?
How will that change the staffing? Do we have the staff to adequately man the library for those amount of hours?
We haven't lost any staff, have we, Seth? We rehired when Nancy retired, right? Have we lost staff? I mean, didn't we have enough staff to cover our full hours?
Yeah, staff isn't the issue. Yeah, staff is still there, and that's definitely not an issue necessarily. I mean, we see people out, we see people not necessarily with COVID, but maybe a family member, and that being an issue definitely going forward. So, but no, there's not been a staffing cut or anybody that we've lost. So that's not the issue.
I mean, I want to go absolutely with what the majority of the board thinks, and I'm not trying to say anybody, but I don't think that the mask mandate really. I think controlling the population in the library is more important, which is why I think the 2 hour limit, and we don't want overcrowding. You want people to be spaced out, certainly for the staff as well. You don't want it to be crowded. But those evening hours are not crowded hours usually, at least they haven't been. And I think we need to get back and stop changing it and just let it be that we have the service hours that we had when we went to the taxpayers and provide as much service as we can. And again, I do want to address the department head meeting minutes, so I'm not ignoring those concerns. But I've said it in every meeting for the past 3 or 4 months, so everybody knows where I stand and how I'll vote. So it's really up to other people to speak, I guess.
Can we put the hours operate on the agenda for next month? And we'll see what the governor does by then.
Is that to me or is that to other
Well,
board members?
well, to everybody, I guess.
I'll put on the agenda whatever you want. So, yeah.
I mean, I'll just say I agree. I would like to get back to pre-COVID hours, but also, want the whole board to be on the same page.
I mean,
I agree with going back to full hours. I haven't spoken, but I agree fully with that.
I understand that we tend to agree on things unanimously, but isn't the whole point of this many of us being here so that we can kind of work it out and decide? Not everybody's on the same page.
How about if we went to pre-COVID hours starting January 1st, 2nd, whatever the first day is.
The third, that Monday.
There, yeah,
Third.
sure.
I like that.
I like
I
that.
like
Easy to
I
remember.
that too.
I like that.
I like that.
If
Yeah, I like it.
we can remember what those hours were.
Well, whatever they were, we'll go back to.
Um,
So Monday through Thursday, 9 to 9. Friday, 9 to 5. Saturday, 9 to 5.
Sounds correct.
January
Then-
3rd.
does
Yep.
anyone want to make the motion to accept that pre-COVID
I'll make
Motion
hours?
back to pre-hours starting the first Monday of January.
And I'll second the motion. I second it.
That was my first motion officially.
Congratulations.
All in favor?
Got it written down, Ellie.
What was the date again? January what?
January 3rd. January
January
3rd,
3rd.
Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Are we leaving the mass? Yep. We're leaving the mass requirements
I'd
and
like
the
to add
picture
one thing.
time limits. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to mention, and it comes up, I think, back when we see the staff meetings, but our last meeting, Aaron mentioned there was a concern that the police station closed at 7, and that was one of their concerns because it's dark there. I know we have better lighting. Last week, I did stop in and I spoke to the chief of police, Gary. And I was trying to get him to see if, can you have a car there or something? And there's just no way he can do that, he said. But what he said was, he said that area that the library is in, he said, that's a very safe area. He said, all the problems they have in Endicott are in a different section, number one. And he said 90 to 95% of the problems they have are people who know each other. He said there's very little stranger to stranger crime in our area, in the Endicott area. And he said, especially near the station or near the thing. Now I'm just repeating what he told me. And I went down to Samaritan House. It's a local thing down in Binghamton, tries to help people. It's something I've been involved with. And the person who runs that now is an ex-Endicott policeman. He served 20 years. And he told me the same thing. He said that that area is really very safe. I mean, nobody guarantees anything anymore, but he said it is safe. He said there's not really stranger to stranger crime. He said most of the crime in Endicott, they told me a street, I think it's down by the track someplace. And he said it's usually people that know each other. So I'm just repeating what they told me, but I did go to the police after, mentioned that last week. At least try to get their feedback on it. That's what I got, for whatever it's worth.
I was gonna bring up the same thing when we get to the department head meeting minutes. But I also want to mention, I run down there at, believe it or not, 4:30 in the morning. It's dark and run around the neighborhood of the library, but I almost always see an Endicott police car driving while I'm running. I run from, closer to my house down the hill. And I also was gonna suggest talking to Chief Gary. I guess Paul already did, but he has said at Endicott Proud that they would send a car by, certain times just to check on. I don't think they could have a car waiting there when the staff leaves, but I think they could beef up a little bit coming by. And also there's ways they can use cameras in that area. There hasn't been a high crime area, but I wonder if maybe we could have some of those things put in place. I mean, Paul already talked to him, but he has talked about that at the end of meetings before as well.
One more thing. The chief of police did say, he said that he would be glad to come over and talk to the staff if you'd like. If they would like to have him come over, he'd be glad to come over and speak to them. So, you could bring that up, and if people would feel more comfortable, he said he would do that.
He's great. He is very oriented, and I think he's been very responsive.
Well, thank you for doing that. I think we were leaving the mask requirements and patron time limits alone, right? Yeah, okay. Then moving on to the behavior policy and code of conduct policy.
So I know we talked about this at last month's meeting. I think Paul had said something about changing just a small thing. Mo and I are going to work on this policy next month to try to get something to you guys to combine the kind of Johnson City Red Jacket policy with what we already have. But that one change, I think Paul said he wanted to see examples of inappropriate library behavior for all ages. So I just changed that little part. But again, we will, let you guys know. Mo and I will work on a more comprehensive policy to bring to you guys next month. So we are working on that. Okay.
And I saw that posted with the change
Right.
in the lobby the other day.
Yeah, I saw that too. Thanks, Seth. I saw it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Does the no tobacco thing cover like vapes or whatever that's called, e-cigs or whatever that is?
Yeah, I mean, our policy is that, there's no vaping and e-cigarettes or chewless tobacco, So, yeah.
You can tell I'm not a smoker, so okay. Moving on to the maintenance contract.
Again, just that's, not really a actual full agreement or anything. I had the folks from Hanahi come by, look at just the different units that we have, and they're going to get us supposedly, I was hoping by this meeting, but get us official contract just for you guys to look at. I think it's going to be more expensive than what we're currently paying based on how many units we have, because it says each unit. And I think those numbers are twice a year, obviously, just like how we pay kind of quarterly. I think we'll pay biannually. So I think it will be more money once we get the full contract, but we'd have to get that, and then I'll bring it to you guys. Okay?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to new business, staff ideas and suggestions.
I thought some of those suggestions were fantastic. I want to thank you, Seth, and thank you to the staff for putting all that together. I love the idea of having a budget for marketing that could help publicize things a little bit. I think we should think about that with the budget. I love the idea of a computer that somebody could use for 15 minutes to print something out. That seems such a, I don't know why I had that. That's a really nice idea, I think.
Yeah, I think the staff did a fantastic job on this. I've always been wary of, I always felt people had a responsibility to bring the books back on time, but the whole library world is doing away with this, the fine thing. And, their suggestion to remove the fines, their suggestion for the non-resident fees, some of the other libraries are $20 or $50. I think those are good suggestions, and if we publicize them, I think that will bring more people. So I'm moving from my previous position on the fine thing. I'm fine with no fine.
I'm feeling the same, Paul. I've always thought we should say how we were. This was really well done and well written. I also love the idea of the museum and park passes. If we're trying to reach out to families and have things for kids to do, and that's something we could really publicize, even with some pictures, of somebody who used them. This is a really great list of suggestions.
So what do you guys want to do with this list? Do you want to go through each thing and there's approval, or what are you guys feeling on this? I know there's yeah, I mean there's a lot on here. As far
I
as
think
what
some
we need
of
to
them
done.
we're going to have to wait until we do the budget, just so that we're prepared to really be behind these things, to be able to do them. But
Are some
others,
of these, can some of
computer
these
The only,
be,
the only one I have a concern with, the only one I would not be in favor of is having the person on the door, obviously, because that basically that takes a full-time person away from you. If you're going to be open 64 hours a week, that's 64 hours of payroll greeting people, and it'll cost us over $40,000 a year. So I'm not for that. But aside
are
from
the,
that, unless you want to get some old timer retirees, maybe some friends if they want to be greeters or something, but I wouldn't put a staff at the door.
are there any of these suggestions that we
Aside
can
from that,
implement that,
I think the list is great.
right, so are there any of these that can be implemented that we don't have to
Right.
worry about the budgeting, like the allowing patrons to use driver's licenses or the library card on their phone? I know there might be some libraries that have apps where they can have their card on their phone, but I don't know who they are. Yeah, having a way of, if you left your card at home, is there a way to do that? The suggestion box for patrons, that doesn't require any kind of extra money.
The
I'm also
library card,
guilty of showing up without my card, so I am very biased on that one.
the library card issue would have to be a policy change. It's been a
Okay.
policy at the library for a very long time. I know board members here and previous board members have felt very strongly about patrons showing their card, physical card. But I mean, if that's something that the board wants to do, it's a policy change. That's next, type of thing. So that's why I got to know what you guys want me to do or what we should do to get it done.
Do we want to just go through them one at a time and have the board say yes or no?
Right. So I guess you could, it's a budget that'll be discussed, budget
It'll
time.
affect the budget though, and costs and expenses and whatnot, so.
Right.
What about
Well,
oh yeah, go ahead.
the ones that do, okay, so that's a budget item. And honestly, just for me, I would say that there's some type of committee or somebody that could go to look at this right in depth, personnel or whoever committee, before the budget obviously is presented, that we say, okay, we figured in it might be this much we need to add to the budget for this or this much, unless you just want me to do it. That way everybody can be on the same page if these are the budget issues.
Yeah, you can put the pencil to set, how much we'd lose on the fines, how much we'd lose on the non-resident fees, and that budget time, you could just tell the board those things are. Which is only a month or two away.
Would the computer one affect the budget? Or do we have a computer already?
Right. No, you gotta either, what we would do, probably take an old computer or one of the older computers, make that the 15-minute computer, something that we planned to do a long time ago, and then buy a new computer, a new patron computer, to replace it. So, yeah, the door issue, right? Obviously, we know that would mean, getting more quotes for the doors and seeing if that's something, to throw in a budget somewhere. So a little bit of work, it seems, that there would be here to do that. So I just want to make sure we, we're using our time wisely to get this done in a timely manner to present, like I said, March or probably when we'll be discussing it. So.
That if they use their driver's license, how would the staff handle that? Somebody shows them their driver's license and they can get to their library card information from that?
Yeah, they would have to
From their name?
trust that, that the card and for that the ID that they're presenting is tied to that library card account and check out books or whatever with that. Yeah.
How would they go from the phone number? I mean, to get to the library account, they need the library card number. How would the telephone, somebody showing your telephone, get them to that? I guess I don't know how you bridge that.
Search their account through different means, their records, right? You search somebody's name. If I search Paul Del Rosso, I can just search your name. I don't have to have your library card to find your information.
Okay.
So again, I would then assume, yes, you are Paul and your library card number is such and such because you don't have to give to me. But that's one of the little bit of risks. But
Okay.
yeah.
My feel on that is this. I used to work for Visions, and security's not that high when it comes to somebody coming up to the counter and saying, this is my account number, and the person on the other end, as tellers, we would just ask for identifying information. If at our local financial institutions, we can get past having the physical card, I think we need to revisit this because, like, for one, I never carry my cards, anything. I have it all on my phone. And I think that if we meet people more where the technology is and just make it more convenient to come in and out of the library, I think it just makes more sense. It made more sense maybe at some point to have the physical card, but I think if we can identify the person and make sure that it's the person that is, then I don't see what the problem is. Like, I don't see why it should be a hindrance.
So is that a policy we can vote on next month?
Right, those changes would have to be made to the policy that a library card is not necessarily needed for folks to check out materials at the library if they provide a form of ID or picture ID or something. You want to say something, right? A driver's license. Now some folks may be young and don't have a driver's license ready, so they'll have to phrase it in a way that would allow people to show something. And do you have this item? Do you have a school ID with a picture? Do you have a driver's license, whatever it is? And that will suffice instead of having your actual physical life.
How would that work
I
with
don't know
a
if you can see-
self-checkout?
You can't.
What are you thinking on that, Emily? What do you mean? How will that work?
Did the department head minutes say something about there's a self-checkout now?
Yes, there is.
So
I think you would, yeah, I mean, for that, I don't know how that technology, obviously, I mean, if they have it maybe on their phone, they could, but they might not have the physical card that way. I don't know. They wouldn't have to be able to use their license to, that's part of the system. That's why, behind the desk, they can look up somebody's name and take it and find their account and then, scan their items, but they won't be able to do that with self-checkout to go into the system on the back end like that, to type your name and find your account and then, start checking out.
So if you didn't have your card, you have to go to a real person. Yeah. And if you had your card, you could do the self-checkout.
Sorry, and self-checkout is only books. There's no ability to do DVDs. We have security caps and things like that that have to come off and movies be put in there. So it's just books even right now. So.
I don't know if you can see my card. When I check out with this, I always tell the clerk that my card is like Willie Nelson's guitar. It's 40 years old and half of it's missing, but it's still good.
how old is that?
I don't know. God, I don't know, 30, 40 years old. It's from back when the library started.
Like,
So we discuss the policy next month, maybe, then vote on that next month. The marketing, the passes, and doors would be a budget issue. The suggestion box and the 15 computer could go into effect now.
The
hours-
computer, the computer would be probably a budget, added into the budget.
Okay,
Yeah. Right.
the museum passes stuff, that would be a budget item, right?
Right.
Okay.
And we're gonna have to spend however much money, and it depends how many you want. Empire State passes, and I don't know, wherever places is, there's like Copernic or wherever, Groberson or something. It depends on how many ideas you guys want. So I mean, that'll be something you guys will want to talk about, but we'll have to get a list that says, hey, here's some local places, and Empire Pass to New York State Parks, this is what it would cost. This is good. Yeah. And the doors, obviously, those are going to be that budget decision there.
You probably would need to get any required quotes before we talk about it to figure out the budget impact.
Right. So, if there's a policy, the other one, but yeah, any quotes, all that stuff going on to try to get that done before we meet and talk about budget.
the only issue with the non-resident fee is we did have patrons complain that their tax amount was much higher than the non-resident fee, which is why we went to the $50 in the first place. So it's just for consideration.
Did you want to talk about that, Jen, or is that, what do you want to do there?
I don't know how much complaining there was about that. I mean, I just remember coming up around the vote time that we were a little concerned that some people said it's not fair that I could be here for $20, but when I live in the town union, I have to pay whatever it is. I don't know how many complaints there were.
When was that? That wasn't the last one when I was here. Was this like one of your first votes or two
Yes.
votes ago? Or,
It was when we raised the non-resident fee. I think it was before you came, Seth.
And here again, I think Chris or I had brought that up. I'm not so sure that there were complaints or that Chris said taxpayers could complain if they knew about it or if it struck them wrong. I don't. I know he brought it up, and I don't know if it was hypothetical or not.
He's breaking up a little bit there. I know I brought this to the board, last year? Gosh, it had to have been around one of the last meetings I think Dr. Ryan was involved in, because other libraries were doing it around in the area. And I guess they're still doing it. So I don't know. They haven't heard, felt backlash from anybody, or no one's told me, or they've changed their policy. Again, we're not first to do it. We're third or fourth to do it, right? And then in county library. So I think we'd be okay. I hope we're okay. But I would go
Yeah, I
ahead.
mean, in the interest of being welcoming, really trying to boost our, welcoming people back and getting people to the library, I wouldn't be against it. Paul's right. I don't really know where that came from. I just remember hearing that, but it was a long time ago.
So then at the next meeting, Seth can bring, what was it? The suggestion box, the policy change for driver's licenses, and was there something else? The computer, or no, the computer was budget related. Okay, those two things for the next month's agenda.
Yeah, I mean, the suggestion box, I mean, if it's something that they find and we can purchase, it shouldn't be too much. I'm sure we can just buy that.
Right.
And that's not a budgetary large amount. Be fine. Yeah, just the policy will probably be the only thing that you guys will need.
Do you have an old computer you could have just for people to swap out, or is it there's not an option for
No,
that?
I think everything's being used, and we always turn our old computers into OPAC and do that type of stuff. So,
Okay.
and then, I looked at this, a year or so ago prior to COVID, so 2 years almost. And then a stand or whatever you're going to do, to kind of where we're going to put it. So, yeah, it'll be a little bit more than, a computer. It'll be obviously you'll need a stand, you'll need something if it's sit down, if it's whatever, and get that all figured out. So we'll get it though.
Does anyone else have any comments about the suggestions, or should we move on? Okay, moving on to the unique price change.
Yeah, so I just wanted you guys to see that email there that I got from Unique. I know Ben talked to me about it at JC, so just our library bumping that up. So you saw the invoices, that see normally we get charged $8.95 for anybody that's submitted to collections or whatever they're trying to do to recover materials, and now they're going to charge us the $11.65 per account. So 30% or whatever more to get our materials back, or however they try to go about doing it. So that'll be a budget increase, probably a little bit too, just on our contracted services line item. That's where that comes out of. Did anybody have any questions on that?
Okay. Moving on to the department head meeting minutes.
One thing the thing that I'm really caught my eye in the department head meetings, there's a lot of things, but the one where Kenny's going up to Good Shepherd Village. We've talked about outreach in the past, but that's about as pure outreach as you can get. So that really is great. That's whoever came up with that. That was a great idea.
He did go. It was a great experience for him. We've got a picture with a couple of the residents. They're trying to get him to come back on a regular basis. So, yeah. Good job, Kenny.
That's great.
Yeah.
We should, if possible, probably do that to the other communities, like Absolute, and isn't their ideal, and
some of them are served, obviously, there should, tech center, what we could do. Again, it'd be hard with Kenny to try to reach out to all those places. He's just one guy.
yeah.
He's pretty, he's doing YA and he does tech center manager stuff, and he's really stretched pretty thin. But what he can do, he will do. I know he will. So, but yeah, maybe there's some other way. Even maybe I could eventually go with him to a couple. So we're also working with us, the library, or working with the bookmobile from Fort County, and seeing if they could go to Absolute. So we're trying to reach in to these places where people may be homebound, can't come to the library again, and see where we could help people out. So yeah, that's
Seth, up at Good Shepherd, they take people. I know they take people to church, they take people to the mall, they take people shopping. I mean, maybe at some point we can get the idea that they have I guess they have vans to take people. Maybe we can try to promote the idea that they could take a group of people to the library sometime. If people are interested, they can start. I'm sure all they do is ask the management up there to schedule a time to take them once a week or something. And that'd be great too.
Yeah, it could be possible. Like I said, if some of that would be bookmobile, like I said, from the system takes them books and they bring them in, and they give them specific library cards, but then we would be giving them actual library cards. It might be a little bit of a issue, but I think it's something that that could be possible and might work, to really, see if people could come in the library that can't get here.
This Truth Farm, Seth.
Their organization that deals with substance abuse and some other things, I know, and somebody's going to come in and then do some, I can't even say it, can't say, the Narcan training, and show how to administer that. I think it's a nasal spray type of thing that, if somebody was to overdose, they'd be able to, a staff member would be able to administer that. And again, there's no real side effects or anything that could happen to somebody if you're administered. It's not like we'd have a legal issue or anything, but just something that staff has requested that they'd like to be trained in case that situation does arise at the library and they might have to save somebody's life in that way.
Building on that, should we consider having some staff train, unless they are already, on like first aid or what's the defibrillator thing?
Right.
or
Yeah,
anything
first aid,
related?
CPR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other libraries.
I'll go to one.
Yeah, they're about the 6-hour trainings. I've had them at other libraries I've worked. I've had somebody come in, from the YMCA or wherever it was that did those type of training. But yeah, you have to have 6 hours. You could split it up in a couple of days, but that can be kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But maybe to offer it to staff as a paid thing that they might want to do outside of work. Maybe that's something they really want to do and say, hey, we'll pay for you to do it, off library time. And so you'll be certified. And if that's something you want to do, it's a great idea. Did you guys want to go through these
Telephones.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Paul.
On the telephones, it said, do not send patrons to use the telephones at either the adult or children's. I didn't know patrons could use the telephones. Is there a policy on that? Somebody can come up and say, I need to use your phone?
Well, we used to have the payphones, I guess, long before I was ever here. And so people come in or they think there's a payphone and they need to make calls. And you get people in situations, again, that, are in dire straits, or they need to make a call. They need to contact somebody, or they're looking to get help for a ride or whatever, picked up or whatever it could be. So it can be an issue sometimes. And we try to encourage people don't do that, but sometimes we allow them to make a quick emergency call. It's not something you want going on every single day.
How feasible would it be to provide a service where we have like a prepaid cell phone, I guess, on the premises, and if someone wants to make a call, we charge them. Like, I need to call a taxi. Okay, it's X per minute or whatever.
I don't know. That's an interesting thing.
I would say install a payphone, but I don't know if you can even do that anymore.
No, they tore out the payphone, one day services just came, I guess, and tore it out. Just have a phone. You'd have to hope that somebody wouldn't take it, go make a call in the lobby, or potentially walk off with it, come back, and how you check the minutes and how much they used up and then pay you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds tough, but
I just threw it out there. I figured it'd be kind of tough.
yeah, it sounds tough.
Well, or I guess order an Uber on that 15-minute computer.
Right,
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, so what did you guys want to talk about? Obviously, the safety issue there. I know, you guys changed hours. Still going to be a concern, I think, for staff. Definitely after 2 days ago and the shooting that occurred in the area, got people frightened quite a bit. So it's something that staff really do feel is really worrisome to them. I don't know if the chief come over and what he would talk to them about. And I know you guys said, it's not really a lot of crime that may happen. I mean, staff are feeling that we have people that just hang around the building sometimes to use Wi-Fi or do certain things, or certain things that we've noticed in homeless folks, doing certain things around the building. Again, good that we have the cameras, but yeah, I think they feel a little unsafe when they come into work. That's a concern that it's not.
So Seth, is it's just because it's dark out, so this not really an issue in the summer when it stays light later? Is it really just because of it being dark in the parking lot and such?
I wouldn't say that. I think the idea is that, it's kind of general thing, but that more so that there's not a police presence next door, right? During, morning hours or whatever, there's somebody over there. They know, okay, well, if I really need somebody, I'm gonna walk out or whatever it's gonna be from the minute I'm here to the minute I leave, I can pick up the phone and call somebody and have somebody here probably pretty quickly.
I
So I
think
don't think
maybe
it's
you
a
could
light
consider
dark.
letting Gary come talk to this. I really, he's done such a good job at Endicott Proud when he's spoken. I don't know. I mean, the safety thing is what I did really want to address. Paul's already gone and talked to the chief. That was going to be my suggestion. He's way ahead of me. But I think that might be worth doing. It's a legitimate concern. I don't want to ignore it and not acknowledge it. I do want to address it, but I think the changing demographic is all the more reason why we should be open our full hours. But I do want to make sure people are comfortable and safe. So maybe it would be worth having him come and speak.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's good. He said, there's gonna have somebody over there or something. I don't know if there's something that we can think of that is some type of situation. Again, policy. I already have people leave together. We have a lot of people who, a couple few people who walk to the library, and that is really concerning to me when I have to watch that person walk off the campus and don't want to ride or whatever it's going to be, and wondering either when they're coming to work if they're made it okay, or they're, especially when they go home. So um, it's a real issue. It's a real issue to worry about.
What was the procedure prior to COVID hours, taking place? Like, these same concerns, I'm sure, affected everyone before. So why?
You hit mute, Ellie.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's just because of COVID. The COVID didn't spread. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's been a concern for a long time, right? When I came on, and people, it's like we have a buddy system. You leave with somebody. We don't leave people here if they're saying I'm just waiting for a ride. We wait in their cars till somebody comes. There's things that we do or have implemented to make sure people are as safe as they can be. We can hold accountable where people are and say, okay, so and so left and I saw them, and making sure we're keeping track of people. But again, that's seemingly not enough for these folks, and that's what I think they're saying. And I don't, again, have an answer, and nobody seems to exactly have an answer of what we could do. So I don't know, where we go from here, what we can do. But I hope there's something.
I'm wrapping my head around it, because businesses everywhere in this community are open till 9, till sometimes way later. And I understand the concerns. Hey, I'm from the Bronx. You always watch your back in the Bronx, and you never go anywhere that's not well lit. I mean, there's just things that because there's safety protocols no matter where you go. But like, when you brought up the shooting, that happened during the middle of the day. So if that's going to have an effect, then that means that we can't go out in the middle of the day either. I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm just trying to be realistic. Making the hours go back to what they used to be shouldn't be such a big deal. I mean, maybe I'm just missing something and I'm not understanding. I'm not trying not to be sensitive to people's concerns, but I just don't get what the big fuss is when the world operates on a dark budget, on a dark schedule as well.
Yeah, like I said, I think, not saying that things don't obviously happen during the day. I don't think the staff would dangerous things happen during the day. You may know about it, it may not. I think that police presence being people, police being there at the station and not being there at like at 8 o'clock is a concern. It's a concern that says, well, they are during the day and it's okay.
Driving around. I mean, the police, you could call the police. They're not,
No, they know that. Yeah, they know that, Jen.
5 in the morning. I see them quite often.
Yeah, they know that, and I guess, could be you guys want to ask them more, if they could elaborate more and what they're feeling, and maybe they can, send you guys a letter here. These are the things, or it is just there's no police presence at 8 o'clock, and I feel vulnerable, or I'm worried about when I walk home, and this neighborhood here, and trying to get home. Maybe that's it. I can't speak for everybody. You know what I mean? I don't.
Oh, I mean, do they want more lights, more cameras? I just don't feel like I agree. I've heard the chief say this many times, like Paul said. We don't have a lot of stranger crime going on. It's mostly people who know each other. I'm not sure what I mean. I just don't see the answer as not keeping the library open the way it should be. But maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would suggest having Chief Gary
Yeah.
come talk.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The other thing is being opposite the police station just happens to be a unique circumstance. You really can't expect to be opposite a police station all the time. So that's nice, but it's not necessary. We would be the only organization in Endicott that's opposite the police station. So we could be the only organization that's open.
Is it the firehouse right there too?
Yeah, it's next to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other side there. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I can't exactly speak to the safety and security of what people feel. That's what I would think they're saying, and we've had instances, I think, where we've had staff members and creepery people, or people who are not exactly in the right state of mind, writing people letters and doing certain things, and so it just is in the back of my mind, whenever I walk out of here, I know I have somebody who is very close, right? As I'm walking that way or whatever, and it just is a security, right? Maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't. Maybe somebody, just because they're there, they can't get to you as quick. I don't know, or whatever. It's just that security that somebody is there. I think that is mattering to them. But like I said, I could have the chief come. Maybe he'll come to the staff development day, and he can speak. Obviously, everybody will be here, and go over that. But like I said, I don't know. Maybe still think I would encourage the board to still think of maybe there's some other ways and we could try to be safe, or things maybe we could implement. I don't know, your jobs or things that you do that maybe could help them in that. Because I've done some things, like I said, but I don't know everything in that capacity.
Has there ever been a problem? Has there ever been a problem here, Seth, with violence?
Well, we've had cars, a couple cars broken
Is there
into.
any history of that?
Yeah, I mean, just like a couple cars broken into, and you have certain things that have gone on that are.
Any history of any history of physical violence?
On another
Anybody
staff?
ever attacked?
Staff member? No, not that I know of. Not while I've been here. But you have situations, I guess, that is something happened in the library with a patron. They're unhappy. I'm going home. I'm worried that somebody may be outside, or may know my schedule, or may know how I walk home, or may know what my car is. How that would go, so there's just that type of feeling when you're dealing with the public, that those type of instances could
be any hour. But that could be any hour, Seth.
Yeah, no, it could be any hour.
That could be
absolutely. It could be any hour. Right?
My suggestion to that is, like, someone could creep me out like that any time of day, anywhere, not just like at my work. that would be a reason for me to call 911 before I even leave the building and say, listen, I have to go to my car, I'm at work, or I'm at this store, and there's someone hanging out that I am not comfortable with. And if enough of those calls go onto the village police, at some point, enough people will say this station is not open late enough, or enough complaints will come in where it should be addressed by the whole village, I guess.
We'll try to do that.
I think that what the chief has indicated is it is not a problem. I mean, the chief has
Right.
told us that we don't have a problem. We're not a dangerous area.
Yeah,
I don't-
I think, yeah, I would
You
say,
should bring them in. You should really
yeah,
come
I
in
would
and talk.
say,
Yeah.
I would say
You really
some
should.
of the staff members would definitely disagree with that. Just the demographics, again, the changes in Endicott that we've seen even over the last 10 years or so, it's a different place, that we're in. Is it like the dangerous city in the world? No. But it has changed, and you have a group of people that, maybe feel that, and so they're trying to just be safe, and maybe there's something we can do, but like I said, maybe the chief can talk to them and see. I mean, Jen, I don't know. I remember being at Endicott Proud meeting, and they had the guy with the Southern Tier cheesesteak place, and he was talking about the crime and saying, some of his patrons won't come in late at night because there's, certain people hang around and crime that happens there. So I don't know. I don't know. Again, I don't personally live down right here, so I don't know. But again, this is what people are saying and how they feel, and let's see what we can do to use that. Good suggestions.
So I clearly we can't solve this tonight. So are there any other comments on the rest of the department head meeting minute?
Person,
Someone's talking, but I can't tell who. Okay, is there any other business?
Oh, maybe just one more.
Oh, yeah.
One more thing. I I saw that the the front door is still going to be closed because when you do the renovation downstairs, you're going to have to move a lot of stuff into that area. But is it safe? Can we assume, Seth, that once that's done, the front door will be open again? Because that was one of the, actually, that's one of the things the police chief asked me. Said, I noticed your front door is locked. So once that renovation's done and you're not using that space for the stuff, I assume you're going to open the front door?
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue. We're not counting people. We're not making, sure people, have mass that way. So yeah, it won't be an issue once that's done. The doors, again, you guys have said you want to wait to do that till budget time, until that happens, which it's up to you guys. It is unfortunate we don't really have meeting room space for people with obviously the renovations going on downstairs. The tech center will be used for children's programming or whatever other programming not. So staff are feeling that it's like probably one of the first times in a long time we don't have dedicated meeting space for patrons.
Well, I mean, there's a good reason because of the renovations. It's temporary, right? I mean, it's worth having a little, it's inconvenient, absolutely, but we're having the renovation done, and then at least we'll have that space and a first floor meeting room in the future if we can work it in the budget. We've had an awful lot going on, so I just, spending another thousands of dollars, maybe we'll after, next time around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's a good idea of what you guys have done here tonight that is addressing the concern somewhat of what people are saying, and you asked them for opinion and they came back and gave you something, and as you just said, we'll look at the budget and we'll seriously look at these things, right? And we're going to seriously try to look at safety, and okay, we went and talked to somebody who is the chief and done some actions, and so I think that really will go a long way here. So thank you for doing some of those things. That's really, really good job.
Seth, I had also gotten a response from the mayor's office regarding the shooting the other day. It was did not inspire confidence, so we'll
Okay.
continue to support you as far as keeping the place safe.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks
That's-
for calling me. He called me like right when it was happening, and I was in a meeting at work, but I called him right back. Thank you for calling me, letting me know.
Yeah, it was a scary thing, a little. To be honest with you, we had a patron come in right at 9 o'clock and said, did you know there's an active shooter situation going on? And we're like, what? Yeah, it's on the scanner, it's on this. And so we're trying to find news story, somebody just tells you that. Well, I mean, then, who knows? So, we're looking at websites and people are saying, the post office closed, Broome County has something on Facebook. And so, yeah, it's a very hectic thing. With that, I wanted to tell you, when we do our training day, it's sexual harassment that happens, but, we talk about safety a lot at the library during that day, panic buttons and procedures and de-escalation patrons and all those types of things. So, I mean, the chief coming will be good with that. But, yeah, it was a scary time. So I was glad that I was actually working and everything was okay. And not that I'm not ever working, but, that I was here to help people that were feeling that. We locked down. That could be a policy again, what we do in those situations. We just kind of said, lock the doors. We didn't let anybody come in or out and just, sign on the door. We're closed for emergency. So if somebody came, it could be a shooter. It could be oh, come on in, we don't want to do that. So, yeah, go ahead, Ellie.
Is a set policy for when there is an active shooter? Because I mean, all the schools in our area, from the grammar school to the high school, do drills all the time to make sure that everybody's safe. I mean, do we have something like that set for the library?
No,
And
that's
if
what I'm
not,
saying.
we should be setting something up like yesterday,
Yeah, we don't have anything on the books for an active shooter situation and what we might do. I think Mo mentioned the idea too within the village. We didn't hear from anybody. There's no phone tree or no messaging system that says, "Hey Seth, just to let you know, there's a police are there or what's this lock the library down or what who are we? Is it a policy we create? Is it a village policy? What do we really do in that situation? So, yeah, definitely something to discuss and try to get on the books as soon as we can.
Would we need, maybe we need to consider bringing in a consultant or an expert one time, I guess, to figure out what would be the proper drills, procedures, where to hide in the building, kind of thing, like away from all windows in the basement, whatever the best
Right.
thing is.
Yeah, I guess again, I'm not a safety and security
Yeah,
expert,
yeah.
but maybe down in the two meeting rooms or, everybody goes down the Scott room and so it's quiet and looks like, oh, no one's here. The lights get turned, I don't know,
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly what that procedure would be, but maybe that would be somebody would say, yeah, this is what you should do in this situation. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if the village, does the village might have something in place that if there's a situation like that, somehow they contact all of their officers or something. And if they do, we need to get the library on that list or something. I don't know. I would think a village would have something like that. I don't know.
I
But
don't
if
believe they
said
do.
when something like
No, you know what? My first call was to the village, talk to somebody, and they didn't know, and they work over at the village. So that's the point. There's no contact
Oh.
system, the phone tree. That was the first person I called that said, "Hey, so and so, what's going on here?" I don't know. They know everything over there, so they didn't even know. So they called me back and said, "Okay, it's over, and you're good to go." But no one contacted me.
aside from an active shooter, do we have anything on the books in case somebody were to say, come up with a weapon of any kind and threaten somebody on the spot?
No. No,
Well,
we don't.
listen, I volunteer to look into this more because this is really troubling to me that there's not something in place already. I guess I just assumed that that's just the way it was in every public place. But it's really disconcerting because my kids go to the library by themselves all the time. And, you know, wherever my kids are, I know somebody else's kids are there too. And I think that we need to put something in place, and we should be addressing this as a priority.
You know, again, you know, some type of policy. It seems like there's some policy things that are going on with the library, and you know, we want to get those set up and on the books. What I would encourage is that there was maybe a couple of board members on a committee, policy committee, that we could start really working on some of these things and get them before the board and get them voted on. And again, I know people's time is limited. I know mine is, right? I've got, you know, a cert desk, and I've got construction downstairs and budgeting and annual reports and everything else. So it is hard, but if this is something we can make a priority, we can work on some of this stuff maybe together and try to get policies created and implemented.
I like that idea. Is there any other business to discuss?
I just wanted to let Seth know that, Seth, the board would like to provide a lunch for the staff on the development day on January 14th, like we did last year. So I assume you'll have the full staff there, so we can count on that. And we'll plan on bringing lunch for everyone. So, you know, they don't have to bring their lunch that day. So, and that'll just be from the board and appreciation for a small token of appreciation, of big appreciation. Okay.
Yeah, the staff really, like I said last meeting, really did enjoy that. And those are the things that the staff really feels and sticks with them, right? That the board, you know, is doing those little things. It makes a big difference, you know, in the long term. So thank you for doing that. I would say, you know, 2022, you know, you could plan on. That's probably a fair number, and plan on food for that. But obviously the pizzas from Rossi's, and there was nothing but raves last.
Yeah, I think we'll do the same thing. We had a big veggie salad too. So I think we'll do the same thing, because I think we had positive feedback from that last time. So we'll plan to do the same. All right, great. So you can expect that.
I also want to mention that I think this might be Paul's last meeting. So I want to thank you, Paul, for everything you've done.
Yeah, he's aging out.
He's termed out.
Termed out. That's a biggie.
15 years.
15
Wow.
years.
It was my pleasure. It was one of the best things I've done as far as I'm concerned. And I'm sure you got a good board in place. You guys are going to carry on terrifically. You got a great board.
So thank
Paul,
you very
you're
much,
nice.
Paul.
You will be missed, Paul.
Yes,
Would have been
thank
nice to actually see you
You
in
will be missed.
person.
Well, there's a certificate for you here that the library board is wanting to present you with. So I have it in my office here for you. So next
Okay,
time you
thank
come in the library, you come pick it up, okay?
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn? Should Paul?
I'll
So
make that
moved.
motion.
So moved.
At 8:24.
All right.
Dr. Ribbert seconded. Okay, everyone in favor?
Seconded.
holidays,
Yeah.
everybody. Have a
You
great
too.
holiday.
Holidays.
Have a great
Thank
holiday.
you.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye-bye.